Minnesota, Tim Wall. I was joking a minute ago, Tim's drinking a Diet Coke and I'm drinking a beer. But that's because I literally can walk home around the lake. So don't worry, here we go. This is home. This is my Senate District, Senate District 51. Senator Jim Carlson, thank you for everything you've done for us. Woo. Now, I'm also on the side of the district with a wonderful representative, Sandy Mason. Woo. Lori Halverson last is because a few of us may or may not have cooked up the idea of running for public office in the book club that we both represent. And it may or may not have involved a little bit of wine as well. So just to let you know, I got some good book club stories tonight. I wanted to come here today and just say thank you to SD51. 3.5 years ago, I stepped out to run for Congress against John Klein, by the way. John Klein almost seems sane at this point in this country. But yeah, almost. But I jumped out to run for Congress because I really believe in who we are and what our values represent. And people ask me all the time, what's the difference between the 2016 election cycle and this 2018 election cycle? Let me tell you what the difference is. The fastest growing group of volunteers in our campaign right now are people who have never, ever worked on a political campaign before. That's it. People are off the sidelines. In fact, staying with that book club theme, we have one woman, and I can't tell you which part of the congressional district she lives in, but she comes from a Republican family, her husband is a Republican, and I am not advocating for this, just to be clear, but on Wednesday nights, she shows up at our campaign to volunteer, and she tells her husband she's at book club. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when the when the husband finds out that no book club meets weekly. But, you know, I'm hoping that we get myself elected and I'm your representative by the time I have to face that. So, let me just tell you where we are. We're ahead of Jason Lewis right now. And we're ahead because this country is worth fighting for. And Democrats are off the sidelines and they want to win in 2018. What we saw with primary turnout was extraordinary. There was a 14 percentage point difference in the number of Democrats who voted in our primary versus Republicans. That is almost down to the number what we're seeing in our tracking polls internally as well, that there is a big enthusiasm gap between Democrats and Republicans in this election cycle. Now, I know many of you have heard me tell my story for a long time, and I'm going to tell it a little bit different tonight. See, I'm back running, persisting. She persisted exactly because I know a thing or two about fighting. Many of you know that in my own family, I fought my way, and I didn't talk about it in these terms in this detail last cycle, but I am this cycle. The 9 mobile home parks I lived in growing up, that was affordable housing to my family. I'm standing here today, all these years later, and affordable housing is still an issue in this country, and an issue in this congressional district. I fought my way out of those mobile home parks. I also fought my way through college. We went up on TV this week. I don't know if any of you have seen the ads yet. But I am so proud of the 2 women who helped raise me and helped led to the moment that we're all going to experience in 76 days. My mother, who herself went to school, went to college for almost 9 years and got her teaching degree, and today is still a teacher. And my grandmother especially, My grandmother gave up the life that she was living at 60 years old to come move 3 doors down from my mom so that my mom could go back to school and the 3 of us would be taken care of. That's extraordinary. Do you know how many seniors in this country are doing the same thing still today? Retirement security for our seniors, to me, is absolutely non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. We will not let them cut Medicare, and we will not let them privatize Social Security in this country. The other thing that is non-negotiable to me is this. My grandmother got up every single morning and she went back to work at 60 years old. She worked until she was 76, dipping heels in glue in a union shoe factory. The other non-negotiable thing is what has built the middle class in this country, and that is strong unions in this nation. See, we got a lot to fight for. And I think that's what we have to tell voters, what we're going to fight for in this country. For affordable, accessible health care. We are not going to let Americans go without their health care. Do you know we already have universal health care in this country? No, it's called the emergency room. It's the most idiotic way to have health care of any developed nation. We have got to make sure that health care is accessible and affordable to all. The second thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure we're investing in Americans again. We have got to invest in the job skills needed to give our local employers the opportunity to grow. We have got to invest in the things that are going to help us tackle big issues like climate change. I do not believe we have to choose. We don't have to choose between growth and doing what's right. The biggest opportunity for economic growth in this nation is staring at us, and that is renewable energy. And if we don't move now, instead of moving this nation back to 20th century energy policy, we are going to cede leadership to China and India forever. We have got to stop looking backward. We have got to look forward. This election, I know you've heard this, and I know politicians say this, but I've never run for office until I ran for Congress. This is the most important election ever. And these House seats, this governor's office and these House seats, it is the most important part of this election. Because if we don't win this seat, I don't believe we'll win back the United States House of Representatives. And if we don't win back the U.S. House of Representatives, it will embolden the other side. They will believe that all of the policies they've been promoting on immigration, on health care, to take away pre-existing conditions from families around this country. Issues like
tax cuts for the rich.
Issues like income inequality. And I'm only struggling here for this reason. I believe this is the biggest challenge of our time. Income inequality is the biggest challenge of our time. Every great nation, because of this, and the 83% of wealth that went to the top, that went to corporations, we have to build a working class and a middle class in this country again. And I want to be right there at the forefront of this. And if we don't win these elections, it will embolden them to accelerate everything that they've been doing. Now, what I need from you is simple. And I came out today and I remember the last, you know it's my home district, when I remember the last 2 of these, it's been raining. But the sun is out today, and I am more optimistic than ever. I'm more optimistic because of the crowd we see here today, because of the crowds we saw on primary voting day in Minnesota. And I absolutely believe we're going to see it again. I am more optimistic that we can create the kind of country that doesn't matter how much money you're born into again. That if you're willing to work hard, you too can be successful. It doesn't matter what religion you worship, the color of your skin. It doesn't matter. We can be that country again, but I need your help. I'm only 76 days from taking this congressional seat from Jason Lewis, but I need your help. We need to build that core of volunteers. Some of you already are showing up a lot. And what I'm asking for you today is this. Think about this. 76 days to Election Day. I know many of you have active, busy lives, but can you give me one shift a week? Can you give me 2 shifts a week? I even told Sherry Dilly I'd, go out and join the after drinks. If you can give me door knocking and phone banking and other shifts, we need to build that volunteer base throughout this congressional district to get this done. I do not want any of us to get complacent. We can't count on a blue wave. It is going to take a lot of blue work, but the good news is in this congressional district, we don't need a blue wave. We came within 1.8% of winning this seat in a Republican wave year. What we need is a lot of focus and a lot of hard work, and oh, by the way, a head-to-head with Jason Lewis. Just to be clear, the voters of this district have only 2 choices in 2018. Jason Lewis or Angie Craig, and that makes a really big difference. So thank you so much for supporting me so far, for supporting the campaign. Lisa Noah is going to give me the hook any second, but my ask of you is simple. Please sign up to volunteer. We have 76 days to get this work done. Thank you so much.